Hey, today we're going to be talking with Klayre about what's going on in her archery world, and we want to see what's going on and get the stories from her of what's going on. My name is Roy Canterbury, and I'm going to be your host today on Archery Talk 101 with Klayre on the line with us. Welcome to the show, Klayre.
Thank you.
If you introduce yourself, tell everybody a little something about you so we can get to know you a little better.
So I'm Klayre Smith. Basically my life is all around archery. Ever since I was a little kid. I kind of just fell in love with the sport and here I am today.
So, what made you get started in archery?
So there was this church shoot and that we found out about from friends and they said to check it out. My dad did hunting when he was little, like his whole life basically. Um, but ever since that and me hunting with him and me going to this church shoot when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I just fell in love with the sport and I decided to keep going.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You hear the same kind of story once in a while where somebody gets in there and picks it up from their parents, and then you have other ones that parents didn't do any shooting and run into somebody else. And
Yeah, that's kind of how I was, because I was just kind of by myself. My siblings are a lot older than me, so they just kind of did it here and there, have like because they have work, obviously. But I kind of was giving up and it just got boring. So I told my mom that if she didn't start doing it, then I would have to like quit and find something else. But she fell in love with the sport just as I did. And now we do it as a family all around the United States.
oh, that's really neat that you got your mom started in it.
Yeah.
I hear that story once in a while where the kids get in and get the parents in it. Next thing you know, the parents are just diving in head first, and
Yep.
great to have a family deal where you can go out with your mom and dad and enjoy archery. And
Yeah. It's definitely great.
so do you shoot target or 3D, or what type do you shoot?
I do basically all of it. Um, I do NFAA, USA archery. I do 3D and also deer hunt and everything.
No, so when did you start deer hunting?
I started deer hunting when I was little, just with my dad again. Um, Probably about 3 or 4.
That getting to go out with him, it's fun to take your kids out. I know I took my son out one time, and he was all cameled up and couldn't see him. I said, here's a deer call, you call. If they're coming, just be quiet. And it was fun being with him out there, even though he wasn't old enough to shoot yet. But
Yeah, I also did a lot of squirrel hunting, when I was little. That was like the main two things with me hunting.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. Um, when did you get your first deer? Tell us about that one.
I got my first deer, I think I was about 7. Yeah. I was so excited. It was just a little spike, but it was like I shot a 15 monster point. Like I was jumping up and down and I couldn't wait to go get it.
Now, what'd you use to shoot that one?
A rifle.
Rifle? You're hunting. That's the thing. You're out
Yeah.
there in the field, and archery would be a little more tougher at that age because it's hard to pull, unless you're using a crossbow.
Yeah.
So what's been some of your most memorable hunts?
Probably one last year in September. Um, I don't do much hunting because we're always busy with archery like every weekend. But definitely last year in September, I remember September 11th, we went out there after seeing many like huge monsters on the trail cam, and we got out there like 15 minutes and then it turned into like 20 minutes and this 10 point, 6 point, and 8 point came out and I shot the 10 point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But was that with the bow as well, or is that with a gun?
That was with a gun.
Gun.
Yeah.
Anytime you can get out in the field is always a good time.
Yeah. I tried to do a little bit of turkey hunting when I was little, but I'm just like I feel like I'm very impatient.
Yeah, you have to be kind of still and patient for turkeys, don't you?
Yeah.
So in some of your archery events you've been at, what's been kind of your most challenging archery event that you shot in?
I like 3D because I feel like it's like more as home to me. Like it just really like touches the heart because
Yeah.
I've been hunting my whole life. So I think it's like the most easiest, but I think definitely the 3 spot Vegas target has really been challenging with me. Just it's really like mind, it just gets in your mind and you're like, okay.
Yeah, those are a little bit challenging, whether they're the three in line or the in the
Yeah,
shape, and
the
they're all a little bit
USA
different.
target.
Yeah, those are a little more challenging. I'm used to
Yeah.
shooting 5 spots. That's
Yeah.
what I normally shoot is the 5 spots, and then get the other ones with those different colors. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
used
what
to white center.
I think a lot of people look at the 5 spots and 3 spots a lot differently. And I think that it gets in your mind too that you think this 5 spot is so much more easier because the X's are like huge. But it's like it just gets in your mind that you don't need to practice the 5 spot and you just keep practicing the 3 spot, and then you get to the competition and you're shooting this 5 spot and you keep missing the X's because you don't practice it.
Yeah, they're a little different color and different sizes, and yeah,
For
you got to
sure.
keep shooting all of them.
Yeah,
I like some of there's some game targets that is out there.
those
There's
are fun.
tic-tac-toe and cards and um, a couple other ones I forget what now, but yeah, those are kind of fun to shoot at as well.
Yeah. I remember I used to have family meetings in the barn when I was little, and we just like shoot bows with the whole family and put the tic-tac-toe boards up.
Yeah, those are kind of fun when you got 5 rounds, you gotta get three in a row, and
They were,
if you want the spot, you got to get closer to the center.
yeah.
So just make sure you get them all in the center so that we can steal it.
Yeah.
Little, little strategy. I've shot those a few times, not a whole lot. I got a whole stack of targets, but I don't go out and shoot them too often. But
Yeah.
so how are you doing in like the Vegas shoots and NFA shoots and USA shoots? Tell us about some of
Um,
those events you've been at.
yeah. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I'm mostly struggling on my Vegas target. Just I haven't had a bunch of nerves. It's just me dropping my arm. Um, you'll have like a perfect target and you'll drop your arm just one time. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
But I am really excited for Vegas this year.
What are you doing to get ready for it? You doing a lot of practicing, or
Yeah, every day.
what's your kind of your normal practice routine each day?
My practice routine each day, I try and shoot a round of 3 spot and a round of 5 spot every day. Sometimes I don't get to the 5 spot, but um, yeah, a round of 10 for the 3 spot, and I do the bigger tens. So the X's are just X's. But yeah,
That's a lot of shooting every day.
yeah, my arms definitely get sore at school the next day.
Yeah, but it's worth it though, isn't it?
It is, yes. If you really love the sport, you'll do anything for it.
Yeah. And there's a lot to, you're practicing and every day and then you get there like you said when you get to the tournaments, you're not nervous, but you just
Yeah,
hit your form.
it is. I know a lot of people at school are like, why don't you do school sports? And you're really tall, you're good at basketball and everything. It's just like, I have no time for it.
Well, it's just not your sport.
Yeah,
Just say to them, it's like, well, why don't you come out and shoot a bow with me?
yeah.
And then they can see it's not as easy as they thought.
No, I think a lot of people over like say that a lot too. And until you like try it and you get really serious, like they just don't understand that there will be some struggles, but if you keep going, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just got to keep going. And if you love the sport,
Yeah.
then, why stop? Why do something else?
Yeah.
I've been listening to Grant Cardone's book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. And
Mhm.
that's kind of what, like, if you want to be at the top, you got to be obsessed at
Yeah.
practicing and shooting and working on different aspects of your shooting form and technique. And
Mhm. I've been reading the book um Reading in Mind or Winning in Mind from Lanny Bassham, and that's actually really helped my archery career a lot.
yeah, what kind of stuff does she talk about in that book?
He talks about just practicing makes perfect, and you're gonna do it all. You can't do really other sports. So it's like I think it was a really good book to read and definitely very good for everyone.
It's hard to be good at multiple sports.
Yes, and I love that he like puts examples in of how he's actually a trainer and he helps people overcome like target panic and stuff like that. So it's actually based on archery too, which I think is great. But it does have other like sports, so I think that would be a great book for everyone.
Yeah, that would be good. We'll put a link in the description when we can find one, and we'll
Yeah,
to it and at least put the description of the book in there, and then you can go out and find it and read it, and
yeah,
audible version that we can listen to.
yeah.
So what was the name of the book again?
Winning in Mind by Laney Bassham.
Winning in Mind. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick, and we'll bring it up. But
You're all good.
yeah, my machine's not real fast. Lenny Bassham, right?
Yep.
All right, let's bring this up. Oh, that's not too bad. Let's just go ahead. I'll share my screen and we can take a look
Yeah.
at that book. Um, there it is, winning in mind.
Um,
Paperback, it used. You can get them new or used. Probably have it
yeah.
on an Audible book. That's just what popped up first when I did a Google search for
Yeah.
it.
There might be two different covers, but I think that's the same one. I think the other one had like a dark blue cover.
Oh yeah, it could be. They're probably different versions or something,
Yeah.
different
I
printing.
think he has series.
But anything from him would probably be good.
It is. He's very good at explaining.
I'm just gonna take a look here and see if I can find it on Audible. There's one. Oh, let me go here. Third edition. Oh, let me just go ahead and share that, and we can see, what's going on here. Well, I don't mind sharing and promoting books to people that
Yeah.
care. Um, so is that what your
Yeah.
book look like?
That one right
That
there.
one right there. Yeah. Okay. I have an Audible account. I'm just going to add it to my cart while I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find a good book, and it's always worth listening to. And I
It
listen
is.
when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I listen to books, and some of them, can be, pretty long, and I'm not going to sit here just listening to it. So
Yeah.
while you're driving, especially when, you've got, for me, I'm about 40 to 45 minutes away from work. And tonight
Yeah.
it was about an hour and 40 minutes to get home. Yeah, because it's snowing here and the wind's
Oh.
blowing, and we started off was driving about 10 miles an hour on the interstate. Then it finally got to go up a little bit faster as we got a little bit more out of town, and then there's times where you couldn't see anything, but I'm listening to the book on my phone as I'm driving. So
Yeah, that's what my family does, because we mostly drive to all of our archery competitions.
oh
So
yeah.
especially like that Alabama and the one in Texas. a couple years back was a long drive. So we'll listen to like Levi Morgan's podcast and Kyle Douglas and everyone's.
Yeah, where do you live?
I'm from Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah, we
I guess I
train at
read the board behind you. It does say Michigan, so
the I train at the MSU Denver Center.
so that's they have a lot of range out there. You can be a lot of shooters at one time, or what's that place
They
like?
do. It's like mostly around the college, so it's very nice to see familiar like faces a lot. But it's a very nice facility. They do have a lot of shooting.
They have other shooting sports other than just archery, or
They used to have a gun range, but they mostly did just archery recently. They have lots of bows to sell and everything. So people from all over can come in and just shoot a bow and rent a lane and rent a bow. So I think that's really cool.
yeah, that's nice. You don't have to fork out the money to buy a bow. You can come try
Yeah,
each you like and try different ones. And
yes. And Coach Glenn is amazing. He helped me through like all of my target panic and everything. He's definitely one of the best coaches I've had.
yeah, that's a big problem that archers can run into. A lot of it's a technique. If
Yeah,
if you don't have the
that's
right technique, it's going to lead to it.
it is. That's what my mom said. I had target panic and I still wanted to go to the ASA Pro-Am in Alabama, Foley, Alabama. And she got target panic at Lancaster last year. And she's like, I cannot believe you went through all that. Like, there's no way. Because there's 20 targets out on the range and I about missed like 17 of them.
Oh,
Um, but I had a lot of fun, and I think that's most of the sport that you just have to remember at the end of the day that having a sport like this is you're just supposed to go out and have fun and shoot your bow. And especially the paper targets, like I think of paper like you're literally shooting paper on a range. Like how different is that?
yeah.
But I think I like all of the paper and um 3D about the same. I think 3D is a little bit more at home though.
Yeah, growing up, being out hunting in the woods, yeah, the 3D is there.
Yeah.
I like the 3Ds. Yeah, I'm more of a hunter than target shooter, but I shoot the spots to develop my skill that I can hit what I'm shooting at. Then I like the 3Ds because then it helps me judge yardage and shot placement. And
Yeah,
although the shot placement on a 3D target isn't the same as on a real animal, so
it isn't.
transition when you get out in the field hunting.
It's not different.
Yeah, you basically on a 3D target aiming for the front side of it. Well, when you're hunting, you're aiming for the back side.
Yeah,
So you got to pay attention where that air is going to come out.
you do.
So, what's the biggest deer you've shot with your bow?
Um, Probably the 10 point. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't going back to the hunting. I don't like hunt a lot recently because of archery and having archery competitions, but it is nice to get out there when I can.
what's been your most challenging archery event you've been at?
The most challenging, probably the ASAs. They can get challenging. But Lancaster last year, I think when you're going against people that are a lot older than you, it gets like in your head a little bit, but you just got to go out there and have fun and remember you're shooting your bow.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 13.
13.
Yeah.
And going out shooting against people a lot older than you.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, starting out, being only 13, you got many years to develop your skills before you have to move into, the where the big ones are shooting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of nice when you're starting out that young and you've been shooting for that long,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of correlations between archery and other things that you'll get into, throughout your life.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see where my archery career goes and to see what I do for college and everything. I really want to be a pro one day, so I think that would be really cool. But just to like see that I start out this young, I just want to never give up the sport and keep going, and then get like this is like way ahead, but like I think it would be really cool to get my kids involved and keep going.
Yeah, yeah, keep it
So
going. If you want to be a pro archer, then you just got to say, I'm going to be a pro archer, and then just
yeah, you got to keep going.
yeah. I don't know if there's a minimum age you can be a pro, but you can, if you can compete with them,
Yeah,
go into pro events and shoot against them.
there is.
You're going to learn a lot and you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And nothing better than being your age and shooting against the pros and beating
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That'd be really good then.
Yeah, it would. I think Brody Turner and Levi Ritzma, they're pretty young and they're pros. So I think that's like cool people to look up to.
Yeah. Yeah. Take what they're doing, look at what they're doing and how they're doing it, and just be around them. And a lot of athletes and stuff, you don't want to be the best one in the group because nothing to push it. You want to
Yeah,
you want to start out and find a group that everybody's better than you so you can improve with them. And then once you get topped out, find another group that's better.
yeah,
Constantly push yourself to go get better and better and better. And when
yeah,
you're shooting with somebody that is a better shot than you, look at them and see what they're doing. And many
yeah,
archers, just ask them, you know, what is it you're doing? And they'll tell you. And then a lot of them even look at your form.
yeah.
On a
I
pod one
think,
time, and the guy he was shooting against was helping him. He's struggling, so he's
yeah.
competing against this guy, and he's helping him get better.
And I think that's what's really cool about the like whole archery thing is that everyone is willing to help. All you have to do is ask. And it's like this archery community I see as a family. Even people that live in whole other different states, when I see them, they're like this big family. It's awesome.
And you'll find that I've interviewed many archers that not even in this country,
Yeah, I
and
think that's cool.
and you talk to them, and it's like, hey, if I'm where they're at, and I have my bow in my hand, we're instant friends. Because
Yeah,
I'm an archer, and we just have this big family thing where we all have this thing in common and willing to help each other. And you might have
yeah,
to use your phone and do Google Translate to talk to them, but
yeah,
I've done that a few times, trying to talk to somebody, and it's like, okay, they're in whatever that language is, and they'll type it in. I'll just type it back in their language. Yeah. Sometimes I'll get posts on my YouTube channel, and it's like, I can't read that. So I'll type it in and say, okay, auto discover. Oh, okay. So now I know what it says, and I'll respond back to them
yeah.
and their language.
That's really cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of, we can talk to them now. Several years ago, unless you knew the language or you look up in a
You
book and
can
try
do
to, yeah, now you can just type it in. It's like, yeah, show up.
it. It is.
Or have the sound. Sometimes some of them will actually speak it for you,
Yeah,
and then you can do that, and just try to talk to them. And
it is really cool
it's kind
when
of fun where
people,
you can, lots of times you don't have to say anything to help.
yeah,
You can just put them in the right position, and so a couple of tweak here and there, and show them, and and teach. And sometimes the best way to do it is just show them.
yeah,
That's where right-handers, I got to show them left-handed, and left-handers are actually easier because I can show them because I'm right-handed. I shoot right-handed, and then I can show, okay, do this, and they can look at me and say, okay, do that.
yeah. I'm right-handed, but I'm left eye dominant.
So you shoot left-handed.
Yeah,
Well, you got to shoot your dominant eye.
you do. that's one thing that was kind of cool that I figured out because I didn't know that there could be a difference in left eye dominant or right eye dominant. So that was really cool when one of my coaches from the church shoot was like, "Hey, you're looking over your peep." I think you're left eye dominant.
And it's a
So
lot
yeah,
better, switch to being the dominant eye and shoot with that. And you're much better in all your eye-hand coordination things, whether you're
yeah,
shooting a gun. Gun's not quite so bad if you have a scope on it, because whichever one's looking through the scope is going to be dominant.
yeah,
When you're playing pool or anything else, that you're lining up, shooting the cue ball into something, you're lining down the stick, and if you're not using your dominant eye, it's going to be kind of an angle. And
yeah.
yeah, you can be off quite a ways if you use your non-dominant eye on stuff.
You can. I kind of had the choice like right then if I wanted to train myself to shoot right-handed or be a little bit different than other people.
Well, being left eye dominant isn't always, there's quite a few people that are left eye dominant.
Yeah, and
And
I think that's what's cool about it.
but when I was worked at Bass Pro for a while, and then over at Cabela's, I had a set of twins come in. So I'm checking them. One's right-handed, the other one's left-handed. The right-hander was left eye dominant. The left-hander was right eye dominant.
Oh wow.
So you never know. And it was kind of
Yeah.
just mirrored. And there's a lot of right-handed people are left eye dominant. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, well, I can't do it. It's like, you can do it. You can learn it. You know, you just gotta, crank down the weight until you get it up, and then you can get your weight built up and
Yeah.
go. And you don't need to shoot a lot of weight.
No, you don't. Unless like really hunting like far away, but for indoor target, you don't need much.
Yeah, I know there are several of the guys that when I was in the club, they shot tournaments, and they're only shooting 35, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
They don't care how long it takes to get there, how much arc it is. They just want to be consistent.
Yeah, as long as you're hitting the target.
And the faster bows are harder to control. So
They
why shoot
are.
fast?
They are.
Although when I shoot targets, I shoot my hunting bow, and my hunting bow is set up for 70 pounds. So I'm going to shoot my hunting bow because I don't care about target. I care about hunting. So I need to shoot my hunting bow.
Yeah, that's what my dad does. He'll be out there shooting his 70-pound bow, complaining that his shoulders are hurting.
Well, you have to tell him, quit drawing with your shoulder, draw with your
Yeah.
back. Shoulders are hurting, you draw with your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's um of your 3D shoots, which one that you remember shooting has been your most challenging?
Um, I think I think that's cool about the sport also is that like you're growing with the people, so it's going to be challenging. But I think with the 3D, like it gets challenging at points, but I don't think I really had a tournament that was challenging that you just like want to give up. But I think 3D is definitely my most favorite.
Yeah, yeah, 3D is a lot of fun. That's what I always enjoyed. And
Yeah,
it wasn't as much how I placed, because the buddy of mine that I was I hunted with him as well as go to 3D tournaments. And my kids would go along, and Randy and we didn't care where we placed. We could place last and next to last. All we cared about is, did I beat Randy or did he beat me?
yeah,
It bounce around one week or another, and it's just competition between the two of us. And so that
yeah,
was the fun part of that. And taking your kids out with you and shooting and seeing them. My youngest, he was so light, he was only shooting a 5 pound compound bow. It's only 5 pounds, because that's really all
yeah,
he shoot, because he started, like, I think about your age too, is like 3 or 4. And
yeah,
if he hit the animal, then I counted at least at 5. Because the arrows wouldn't stick.
yeah, yeah,
Unless he was standing right next to it, they wouldn't stick. And I was like, okay, get him close enough you can hit it. Yeah, we just wanted him to. shoot and have fun. And then he grew, and when I had my store, he'd come out and shoot all day long. Yeah,
Yeah.
mismatched arrows. He did a dozen or 2 dozen of them, three. I don't remember how it was. It's just a big pile of them, all kind of different lengths. Just whatever, just miscellaneous stuff. And he'd sit there and shoot all day long, and had a lot of fun shooting. And
Yeah, that's how me and my mom are. We're more competitive, like against each other, and whoever beats each other, they have like a long ride home.
yeah,
But my dad mostly does it for fun, and I think that's okay if you do archery for fun. The competitive side, you'll want to give up and you'll want to like change a bunch of things, but you really just got to keep going. But my dad is very supportive of me and my mom, so I think that's really cool.
yeah, that is when you can go out and just have fun. And when you turn
Yeah.
professional, you're making a living shooting bows. And
Yeah,
if you get sick and can't make it to a tournament, you can't make any money. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's a lot of pressure that's some
it
like,
is.
some don't, just shoot for fun. And
Yeah, my mom went pro this year, so she's
oh,
seeing how this year's going, and she's like, "This can be stressful at times."
yeah, yeah, I can.
Yeah, going against the best.
But you got to push yourself, right?
You do.
Yeah, you really got to push yourself, and you know, best of luck to her. And actually, it's not luck,
Yeah,
it's just practice and skill.
yeah. I think you actually did do a podcast with her a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
I think so, yeah.
yeah. Possibly. I get around. I've had this is podcast number 161. And
Oh,
I've been
wow.
doing it 3 years now. This started my third season. So yeah, there's a good chance I talked to her.
Yeah.
Is she around?
She is. Hey, Mom, you wanna come here? She's coming.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of archers, and sometimes I talk to them a couple times because
Yeah.
they had different things going on, and it's always nice to hear the stories.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
How
I
are you
can't hear
doing?
anything though.
How are you doing?
Give me one of these.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't hear with
Good.
earbuds in her ears, can you?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you're out there practicing and having,
Oh yeah, all the time.
yeah. Yeah, she was saying that. I think I interviewed you a while back.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. When was that? In August? I think so. On the way back from IBO Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that you're all in there shooting together, and having a lot of fun, and kind of nice you kind of competing against each other.
Oh yeah, except she kicks my butt most days.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah, well, it
It's
makes it
good.
work, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's what we do as parents. You give them all the help you can get. It's cool to see them do what they do.
Yeah, and it's nice when your kids are doing good, and then they're learning and having fun, and they're actually beating you. Whenever I play games with my kids, I never let them win. They're gonna win, they're gonna win. I'm not gonna just give them a win. I'm
Oh,
gonna try as best
exactly.
I can, and makes them improve.
Absolutely. Nope, she does it all on her own, that's for sure. That's for sure. Which is pretty exciting. It used
Yeah,
to be a lot easier when she was at 10 yards. I could be like, well, she puts up those scores because she's at a short distance. But, now I got to eat my crow. So now I got to work a lot harder.
yeah, just push each other, and just make each other better, and
Exactly. Exactly. It's pretty fun.
something you guys will do for many years together.
Absolutely. Yep. Every once in a while, I get a few on her, and that's pretty exciting. So
Yeah.
got to take it when I can get it.
At least till you go to college, and you don't stay around the home.
Yep.
And
We'll
some
see.
colleges have archery in them as well.
Mhm.
Yep, she's talked to a lot of collegiate archers and a lot of their programs and all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty exciting. We'll see what she ends up doing.
Yeah. Well, stay with it. You know, it's something that you can do for a long time. I know I shot when I was in college. You know, there was a course in archery, and I took it, and of course, you know, that then even in high school, I had some in high school, and I remember shooting my brother's bow. He had one of the Bear whitetail twos, and you know, if you've seen one of those look really really antique. It's one of the first compound bows out, and you know, I was going up there and shooting, and it's like, oh, it's fun.
Absolutely.
But I started out with just a fiberglass recurve bow. You know, back in the 60s when your options were fiberglass or wood, and wood or wood arrows with feathers or feathers. There really wasn't much an option. Now you had fiberglass arrows for fishing, but other than that, really wasn't much there.
That's pretty cool how far they've come, huh, Klayre?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now the advancement in the bows are just, it's just crazy what they're doing, and you know, I'm still shooting my old bows. 2001, 2004. I do have a little bit newer one, but I haven't even set it up yet. This is when I was working at Cabela's, and what we used to do is get in a whole pallet full of returns that sent them all to us, and then we'd put them all together. Well, I was able to get a Bear, I forget which model it was, one of the snow camel ones, and it listed for $900 new, and I got it for like $150 or something, 175, something like that. But it needed a string and needed other repairs on it, so I repaired all those, and it's downstairs. I
Nice.
haven't done anything past that because I shoot my PSEs when I shoot.
Right. You get one you like, and then that's where
Yeah.
it's at.
I got my hunting bow, which is a 2001 bow. And then I have my one I use for targets and 3Ds and stuff. And it's a 2003 bow. And
Yeah, Klayre and I are both learning the new Matthews titles, so we've got those set up and changing back and forth. We've got, all the indoor stuff going on right now, and then we're starting in with our 3D setup. So it's always like, oh, this weekend's USA archery arrows and making sure we're dialed in for that. And last weekend was the big fatties, and we got 3D coming up. So it's always a challenge, making sure that we're all tuned up and ready to go for all the various stuff. But we like shooting all the different stuff. It's just always a challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of have one arrow. I got my arrows, and when I close my store, I'd say, oh, this is the arrow I use. Okay, they're no longer going to go. They're going to be mine now. I just kept all of them, and I have enough arrows now that I don't think I could go through all of them in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like in our barn, isn't it? Buckets and buckets. But all the different things for all three of us and all our different bows. But it's pretty fun.
So what do you guys think of that new Matthews bow?
We love it. Klayre's really enjoying hers, I know for sure. I've got the 38 and the 36. She has the 36. So yeah, I've just gotten the 36 set up for myself for 3D. So that's pounding pretty nice. We've just put that through its maiden voyage, last weekend? No, it was 2 weekends ago. It was the first weekend of January. So that was super fun.
I think it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than the TRXs, but if you really work hard at it, then it's a perfect bow.
Yeah, it holds really good. It aims good. It's probably one of the best aiming bows we've worked with. So that's definitely the nicest part about it. But yeah, it's definitely a fun bow to shoot. Definitely different. That's for sure.
It is.
So yeah, we had all the TRXs. I think her favorite lineup was the 34 from last year. And so she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back and forth. They're so different. I'm going to have to get me another title. So we'll see. Dad's already talking about doing that, but she shot the lift too. So she's like, get me one of them.
All of them are so smooth. And oh, I don't know which one I want.
Yeah, that's always the challenge when you pick up a new bow. And I know I have my store people come in and they're looking at bows, and and want to try the new ones, and it's like, well, think I should try a new one? If you try it, you're gonna buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, her face lit up and she's like, put that one on order. It was like, well, they're backed out for a while now. That's really popular. So we'll see. But she's a lefty, so of course we got a special order that. But yep, so we'll see. No, it's really nice. So it's working pretty good. Just got to put the time behind it now.
Yeah, get some time in there, and I know a lot of people think that left-handed is not that dominant, but I know the last year I had in my store, 40% of my bows were left-handed.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
believe it.
it's like 40% of my bows that I ordered in were left-handed. Now, partially because I stocked left-handed bows.
Right. So then
honest,
they're coming for that.
yeah, you go to a store and all they have is right-handed bows. Not now you would, but if you're left-handed, you don't want to shoot a right-handed bow. It's going to feel different, and so I stocked left-handed bows, and I didn't do a lot of the upper end ones, because they're my cost on was quite large compared to the lower ones, but that's back when the Nova bow was there, and I would stock the three different lengths. I'd stock two in right and one in left in each of them. So I catered mostly to new archers, getting them started, and right-handed, left-handed. What's your draw length, and set them up and go. And I like to set up my bow so that you had everything you need to get started.
That's awesome.
It's absolutely. Well, I've got to help him finish up on his bow. So it was good to see you, Roy.
Yeah, nice seeing you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to give it back over to Klayre. And yeah, I'll let you finish up. Have fun. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that was nice getting your mom on here and talking to her again. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, yeah, you can tell I have a lot of fun talking to archers all over the world, and you'll have to get in there and listen to some of the other podcasts. And
Yeah.
I started
I
this year.
actually
This year
I
I
actually
started
have.
doing some. Oh, what was that?
I actually have. I've listened to a lot of yours and I think they're really cool.
Yeah, I started this year. I started doing some lessons where the first lesson was about just getting started, and the next one about form, and then I've got some other videos that I've created, that I'm going to go in the next step and get some lessons, get some teachings in the podcast as well. And the one we just recorded, it comes out tomorrow morning. We talked to a guy that actually wrote a book, Crimson Arrows. He wrote a book about his archery journey, and we talked about bear shaft tuning and the pros and cons of that, and pros and cons of shooting through paper, and the fact that shooting through paper really don't tell you a whole lot.
Yeah.
Where you shoot through paper, you can get a perfect tear, and then somebody else shoots it, you get a terrible tear with the same bow, same setup.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in your form, so
It is.
you don't really tell much. But yeah, it's so I'm going to start a series where I'm going through and teaching different aspects, and then I share a video, so those watching are going to get a little bit more out of somebody listening, because I have to stop and explain what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But just to help archers out, and that's the fun part is teaching, and you help somebody out. That's great. And as you know, in the group, the Archery Talk
Yeah.
Facebook group, we have a lot of archers in there, and I don't have a lot of time to put a lot of content in there other than the podcast, because I got so many other things going on. But so I'm trying to get some more stuff in there. And if you want to ask a question, as you probably know, ask a question. There's so many others probably running that problem.
Yeah.
Because we have young ladies like your age in the group, and we have guys that are even older than I am and shooting as many years as I am old. So we've got all kinds of levels in there, and it's a lot of fun. And
It
we
is.
don't allow anybody to sell anything in there, so you're not going to be bombarded with ads and stuff to buy. And it's all,
Yeah.
that's why I named it Arch Talk 101, because this is beginners. We're going to teach you. The group's there to learn.
Yeah. And I think that's cool because like the archery community too, like if someone needs help, like there's always someone that can help them, or like even if you need something. And I think that's so much cool because at the MSU Demo Center, like we are just a huge community that always helps each other. And the S3DA program I think is also really cool. It's a kids program, all the way, I think it's 6 or 7 years old to 18. And I think that's a really cool learning experience for younger kids to get into and to grow into, so you know how to perform in bigger tournaments. But yeah, that's definitely really cool.
Yeah, that's always the fun part.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I like talking to archery. Archers all over the world, and it's a lot of fun. And I learned something. At each of the podcasts, I learned something, and hopefully, the guests like you has learned something as we're going along.
Yeah.
And then our listeners and ones listening and watching, they learn something, and it's all about teaching, and
It is.
when you're teaching somebody, and all of a sudden it just clicks and the light goes on, and it's like, oh, that's what you've been telling me to do, because it's all
Yeah.
just shows up right at once. And I really like when you take somebody that like you did with your mom. It's like, okay, you need to start shooting. and
Yeah.
and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, this is fun. I've had, at one time I had a guy come in, and his wife was coming. He was looking at a new bow, and we're doing that. And so I just asked her, it's like, you want to shoot one? Oh, no, just shoot one arrow. I'm like, oh, okay. So and as soon as she shot, it's like, ooh, can I shoot again? Of course you can shoot again and again and again. And so,
Yeah.
got her hooked on there. So she found out how much fun it was, and just,
It
just
is.
started. And like your mom, she found out how much fun it was. And now
Yeah.
something the two of you can do for many years. And
Yeah.
once you start driving, getting into high school, and be other things going on, and getting in college. So yeah, definitely have fun now.
Yeah. I think that's what's
There may
cool
be
about
some
it.
time when you aren't going to be able to spend quite so much time.
Yeah. It's definitely a family sport too. You can definitely get a lot of people into it. Just like anyone can do it if you put your heart into it and you practice. You can be really good.
And you can make your practices fun.
You can.
Like Bush talking about the tic-tac-toe targets. You're
Yeah.
practicing, you're focused on what you want, but it's fun. You're just playing a game.
Yeah.
I know one of the ranges here, that have like a ping pong chute. So they take a vacuum cleaner, like a shop vac that had the port that blows straight up. And it's
Yep.
a ping pong ball in the airstream, and it just bounces around up and down. And the idea was to shoot that ping pong ball,
Yeah.
and
Um,
that was challenging.
there used to be like Christmas shoots where there'd be like Christmas trees with little like circles around them that you try to shoot. But I think that's a lot of the fun part, which you want to make your practices fun, here and there, just to make it like to want to keep going. Archery doesn't have to be serious unless you take it in the serious direction.
Yeah.
But just like you can do archery and fair, which I did that for many years. And I think that's a great learning experience too. So yeah.
Yeah, just take it wherever you want.
You
Now,
can.
you talked about you'd like to be, you want to turn pro. Um, what are what are your kind of steps you have the plan to go to get to be able to be a pro?
I think just practicing and wanting to keep going, looking up to people, and um, taking the time to put into your practices. So yeah.
Focus on you're going to be pro. It just
Yeah.
it's going to take
Just to never give up.
yeah. Well, you're 13, so what? Another 2 years? Turn pro at
Yeah.
15?
I think it's 17 or 18, I think.
Oh, before
But
you can
yeah.
turn pro? Yeah. Okay, well that gives you a little bit more time. So
Yeah.
as soon as you can turn pro, go shoot against the pros.
Yeah.
And if you're to shoot someplace where the pros are shooting and you can shoot, just go in there. You may not competing against them, but they're there. Try to shoot against their scores.
Yeah,
How are you scoring compared to them?
that's what I've been really doing. Because I have moved up to 20 yards instead of 10. So I try to like have my scores as close as I can. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I think going back to the ASA, part of it with the pros and everything, the team shoots at the ASAs, it's where you get bunched up with a group of 5 or 6 and you shoot the 3D targets. It's 10 targets and you will have 1 or 2 pros. But I think that's also really cool to have an opportunity to shoot with a big time pro. So
Yeah. Yeah. Especially do to them like you're doing to your mom. Beat them.
yeah.
Yeah, that's your goal. Not
It
just to
is.
beat your mom, but to beat the pros.
Yeah.
How you doing against your dad? Are you able to beat him as well?
I usually always beat him,
Oh,
but I'd be nice about it. Not so much my mom because we're very competitive.
we might have to help your dad out get a little better, and so he can keep up
Yeah,
with
he's just gotta keep his arm up.
you. Yeah, just remember, don't drop your arm.
Yep.
So the arrow hits, don't drop your arm.
hmm
I don't know if anybody said anything in the group because I ended up closing it. So we'll just have to deal with it later. Yeah, yeah. When I started, I clicked on it. For some reason didn't bring up the comments and just started playing it. Like, okay, go ahead. I don't want to listen to myself again.
You're all good.
Kind of makes it a little annoying because it's always delayed.
It
The
is,
videos are always
yeah.
delayed from what it is. It's not right at the same time, and
Yeah.
I don't want to talk in stereo, especially on a delayed voice. That's
Yeah.
nerve-wracking. Just trying to think of something that you've been doing that is inspirational to other archers. Can you tell us
Yeah.
something that you're doing that's could be an inspiration to other archers?
So at the shop, I try and help people as much as I like can. So, like today, there was 2 little boys, that are so awesome and they already shoot awesome and amazing. But when I see maybe something they can work on or fix, or even to tell them great job, like that's always helps someone when they're struggling, just to tell them to keep going. And you will have bad days and good days, but the good days make up for the bad days. And as long as you keep going, you'll be perfectly fine and you'll make your goals. You just can't give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you give up, then you quit and
You'll go
don't give
nowhere.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep going, and lots of times you learn more when you fail than you do when you did it good.
Yeah.
If you're always hitting the center, center getting every time you hit, it's the center of the X. There's like, what's the challenge in that?
Yeah.
And then when you fail, it's like, okay, why did I fail? Like you dropped your arm, you had a bad shot. It's like, well, I learned I can't drop my arm. If you had been turning a good shot, you wouldn't have realized that, hey, I'm dropping my arm, throwing them down.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's always a challenge, to get better. What are we doing wrong? And then analyze, okay, why is this going this way? Why am I pulling my shots, an inch to the left when they were right on before? So what are you doing
Yeah.
different? And then you got to look, and sometimes you just have to close your eyes and shoot with your eyes closed.
You do. I think that's what can help journal taking. So like you can tell like, your score and what you can do better the next day and everything.
And then too, log in, how you felt that day.
Mhm.
Were you a little extra tired, or or was you constantly thinking about something else while you're doing it? Those things
Hmm.
are really nice to keep track of, not just what your score was, but what was going on that day. Or
Hmm.
maybe it was storming out and it was rainy and
Yeah.
kind of nasty weather. Did that affect you? Or was it real sunny and the sun shining in your eyes, you're getting hot and sweaty? Or was you comfortable? All those things can play into it. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
as well as, up in Michigan, got them cold, really cold days.
Yeah.
This last week, you've probably been pretty cold like us. It's like, and we finally warmed up to above zero.
Yeah. We had a few snow days here and there, so it was kind
Yeah.
of nice that I could shoot my bow all day.
Yeah, I think I've missed 4 days in the last couple of weeks because of snow.
Yeah.
One day I could only work 2 days. Had 3 days
Yeah.
off that one day, another day, another one off because of the snow. Well, your bow's going to act differently too.
It does.
When you're traveling there, it's in your trunk or wherever, and it's getting cold. You get there,
It
it's
is.
cold. You're drawing it back. Everything's going to feel different than if you're there, in the summertime when it's 90 degrees out, high humidity. Then it gets there, it's going to act differently. So all
Hmm.
that information is good to know. It's like, okay, why am I shooting all the way left today?
Yeah.
Well, it's 95 and about 80% humidity. Well, the last
Yeah.
time I shot it was 80 and 60% humidity. So all that, it's going to act differently. It's like, why was it shooting now? Now the only thing different is the temperature. Well, then your bow's going to act differently.
Hmm.
There's a lot of that you got to figure out too. And
It is. It's
and
the little things for sure.
yeah, yeah, when you're looking at shooting in a 1 inch circle and always hitting a 1 inch circle, off by a half inch can mean you didn't get that X.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of posts. There's a lady and a guy, I'm drawing a blank who it was, shot 360X.
Hmm.
And I can remember, you're shooting 299, 298, you're winning a 299. And then
Yeah.
where you got to be 300 to win. And then, 20, 30X. Now, if you
Yeah. You
300
gotta be perfect.
and 50X, you might be in last place.
Yeah.
So it's just getting that much better,
It
the
is.
scale. And I think part of it too is all the stuff we've gone through to figure out how to make it better. And then, the bows are shooting better than the older ones.
Yeah.
They're less vibration because they're a little, the limbs are a little bit different shape. And, the older bows, when you shot them, they would jump forward out of your hand. And the newer
Yeah.
ones just kind of sit there. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and performance just getting a lot better, and just where training is better.
Yeah. I
We,
think that's like sorry. I think that's so important to like start out young, more young. So then because your competition's just getting better and better. And especially if you give up then too, if you decide to come back, it's gonna be really hard to come back.
yeah, and I've seen there's a few archers that are shooting recurves that are really good. I've
Uh-huh.
seen them. Uh, Jennifer Delaney, Freedom Feathers. If you ever seen her shoot, she'll take
Trying to think.
just a recurve. Like one time I seen her, she had she put up a marker up and she drew a line on her arrow with a marker. She got it that close, shooting through the center of a CD, shooting,
Oh wow.
shooting Q-tips, throwing aspirins up and then shooting them. And she's put a lot of practice in, to get that good with a recurve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to get her on the podcast one of these days, but she she's kind of busy and I sent her a mess one time and I'll try send her again, try to get her on, but I think that'd be interesting to talk to her as well.
Yeah.
I'll you know, you're interesting to talk to as well. It's always a lot of fun talking with young archers, because they got such different stories and different passions and just really really exciting that you're starting out this as young as you are, as long as you did start, when you just barely could walk.
Yeah.
You were just learning, basically just learned how to walk, and now you're shooting a bow, and that I
Yeah.
think that helps a lot in your coordination too, your eye-hand
It does.
coordination, balance, and everything else, because you're using your body for stuff that forces you to be aware of what's going on. And
Yeah.
I know one of the things I used to do with the shooters, you get a bow down, they try it, get another bow down. There's one guy I think I had 4 or 5 bows sitting here, and he couldn't decide what's going on. So I says, okay, close your eyes. I'm going to hand you a bow. You're going to shoot it. And then I took it away, hand him a different one. I'm going to shoot it. Which one you like better and why? So he'd tell me which one he liked better and why. I didn't care why. I just wanted him to say why. And then
Yeah.
I'd say, okay, I took 2 more. Which one you like better? And 2 more until finally we narrowed it down, because you wouldn't narrow it down. That's where you got to shoot them. And now that you've been shooting enough, you
Yeah.
can pick one up and shoot it, and you can, oh, I like this, I don't like this. You can kind of analyze your shot, without even closing your eyes.
Yeah.
That's always a lot of fun when you get to go out and shoot bows. And I haven't
It
shot
is.
any new ones because I'm afraid to. I don't want to buy a new one, so I don't want to shoot them, because I know as soon as I do, I'm going to want to get a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my other bows. Like I said, I've got 20-plus-year-old bows
Yeah.
shooting it, and they shoot just fine. So
I kind of just trusted Matthews with my title, because I didn't get to shoot a title before I ordered mine, because left-handed, because they never really have left-handed anywhere. But so I ordered my title, and right when I got it, fell in love with it. So it was all good.
yeah, well, pretty much most of the bow manufacturers, they all make good bows.
They do.
It's just, is it the good one for you? Is it best for you?
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for you, when you order it in, sight unseen, and that's the disadvantage a lot of the archery stores or shops don't do, is they don't stock anything in left-handed.
Yeah.
I forget, what is it, 25-30% of the population is left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add the left-handers that are left eye dominant and the right-handers left eye dominant, that goes up. So
Yeah.
order them. You're going to sell them.
Yeah.
You may not want to order a lot of the high-end ones, but at least order something so they could try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a downfall on a lot of shops, because, well, and having one, that's a lot of money to have an inventory to stock everything left-handed as well as right-handed.
It is.
But I did that with the low-end bows, because I mostly sold to new archers. Because not only with the bow, I give you arrows, I give you release, and I also give you shooting instructions to make sure that you can shoot. And
Yeah.
that's always fun when you can take somebody that's brand new. And I had one guy come in, and it was about 2 weeks after he got his bow. He'd never shot a bow before. He's got a Robin Hood already.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never had a Robin Hood like in my archery career at all.
I've got a few. I quit shooting
Yeah.
single spots because I kept wrecking too many arrows.
Yeah.
And then when you can take somebody that's shooting 6-inch groups at 20 yards and get them to shooting, 1 and 2-inch groups, and only spend 45 minutes with them, that's how you get an archer to stay with the sport.
Yeah.
Because if you were shooting at 20 yards and you'd be lucky to keep it on the paper, you wouldn't stay very long,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody likes to hit what they're aiming at. And that's nice when you start at 10 yards, it's a little easier. And now you're
Yeah.
20 yards with the big boys now. Shooting that 20 yards, that'll do it. But shooting 3Ds, you don't, unless
Yeah.
you're shooting a marked yardage, you don't know what the yardage is.
You don't. Yeah.
So are your 3Ds that you go to are unmarked, right? Or are they some of them marked?
You just have a max distance, but they're unmarked. You use a rangefinder. For IBO, it is unmarked. You just have a max distance of what the most it can be.
Well, that helps, when you're hunting, that's what I did. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I finally got my first rangefinder.
Yeah, it does help
Yeah.
a lot.
I'm 69 years old now, and I was in my 60s before I got a rangefinder, and I just got used to judging yardage without one. And so now I don't really use it much. I went out during rifle season last year, and I used it because I wanted to whereas where they're coming through, I want to be far enough away that by the time they come up there, because they were coming through before shooting time, I want to be far enough away. So I want to make sure it was within the range of where my gun was sighted in. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too far away. It's like, oh, I can sit here. Well, that's 400-yard shot. Let's get a little closer.
Yeah.
But I take when I range the yardage, I look at the, like if I'm on the top of a hill and in a tree stand, I'm going to look at where the trail is and take the tree straight up and get to there. Judge that.
Yeah.
I started out with a 30-foot rope tied to peg on the tree and go out and mark 10 yards and move it again by another 10 yards.
Yeah.
Kind of see a little bit different of that facility there behind you.
Yeah. It's definitely really cool.
Oh, that's a big area there.
Mm-hmm. The shooting range is huge. I don't know if you can see through the big windows.
Yeah. The shooting range on the other side, those windows, those doors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even where you shoot. That's huge.
Yeah,
That is a nice facility up there. So anybody up
it
there
is.
where you're at, definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We've been talking for a little while, and it's been really great talking with you. And I'm sure you want to go do some practice or something. Oh, your video died. She's walking around. I think her video died. She froze. Walked outside and froze. Well, we'll see if Claire can come back. If she connects back in, we'll continue on our great conversation with her. Um, Otherwise, we'll make sure you listen to the podcast. Podcasts come out every Monday and Friday mornings at 6 o'clock in the morning on Spotify, as well as on Audible and other podcast places. And the video is available in the Archery Talk 101 Facebook group, as well as on my YouTube channel, Learn to Fix It Yourself. So go ahead and check those out, like and subscribe on the video so you can know when I post more videos. And let's just have a lot of fun talking to archery, and hope everybody learns something. And remember, if you don't shoot, you're not having fun. So go out and shoot your bow. Let's have a lot of fun. My name is Roy Canterbury. I'm your host today on Archery Talk 101, and we'll see you on the next one.